All right, joining us now, Florida Republican Congressman Cory Mills. He is working to get Americans out of Israel every minute, that is. And we understand that you helped rescue 32 Americans from Israel today. Can you tell us about those efforts?
Well, thanks so much for having me. Yeah, it's unfortunate that I won't be able to share too many of the details. We're still running operations at this time. There's still a lot of Americans that are trying to get out, many whose flights have been canceled or they've actually been stuck into an area that is no longer creating a permissible environment. So myself, I went in and was very thankful to be able to get, for the second time, by the way, I'll just add, helping the Biden administration who has failed to do their job. The first time I did it was in 2021 when I conducted the very first successful overland rescue of Americans. But here it is the second time doing the Biden administration's work because they have no plan, they have no strategy to get these Americans out who are trapped in these church groups that had been left behind. I just want to point out one thing. The Biden administration continues to want to do these lids, but I think it's about time that the American people put a lid on the disastrous administration that continues to fail in their plan and strategy to be able to, get Americans out or to take into account the foreign policy phobe that they actually create that actually leads to these types of incidents.
Congressman, our Aisha Husney, who is our congressional correspondent, you know her well, is reporting that she's got sources in the Senate telling her that there's a plan to potentially using charter aircraft get some 16,000 Americans out of Israel. That operation might begin sometime in the next 48 hours. What do you know about that?
Well, I haven't heard too much on the actual operation itself, but I do know that the minute that you start seeing a potential counteroffensive or you start seeing General Secretary Hassan Nasrallah from Hezbollah kick in, or you see other proxy militia groups that are headed up by people like Hadi al-Amri or Qais Khazali out of Iraq and Syria, that could definitely put a damper on things, especially if they start taking any type of indirect fire onto that runway, which would potentially, cause the aircraft to be able to either, one, do an evasive maneuver, or two, cancel the flight path in its entirety. So I hope that they can get in. I hope we can get as many Americans out as possible. And I hope that we don't see a repeat of what happened in 2021 in Afghanistan, where Americans were left behind and abandoned by this administration.
Do we have this up from earlier, John Kirby? Okay, Karine Jean-Pierre at the briefing earlier on the ongoing situation. Listen.
We know that so far, 22 Americans lost their lives and 17 remain unaccounted for. We know that these numbers are likely to increase in the days ahead. As the president said this afternoon, this attack has brought to the surface painful memories and the scars left by millennia of anti-Semitism and genocide of the Jewish people.
Painful reality, and reminder that that the death toll right now, 22, 17 Americans unaccounted for. The White House confirming a short time ago, Americans are indeed being held hostage by Hamas. So we're going to wait on more updates, Congressman. Can you tell us a little bit, is there anything you can share with us about those Americans that you helped rescue today? What you heard from them, their stories?
So I had worked with one of the pastors in this church group, as well as for a couple of isolated individuals that were stuck in these areas. They had tried to get on multiple flights. Their flights were canceled. They felt they were kind of being boxed in as some of the aggression around them started to increase. And really were just looking for an answer, looking for a way out. A couple of them had called the State Department and really didn't get a whole lot of support. And so at that stage, I just felt it was necessary for me to step in and try and do something. Our government doesn't necessarily define who we are as Americans. I think that the American spirit's very much alive, and I think standing up and stepping in is really what these people were looking for. And I hope that, them being home now, or them actually getting out and to be in a safe space, has given them confidence that Americans won't be left behind, and that at least those of us who are elected officials will stand up when it's needed.
Congressman, appreciate you jumping on with us. Thank you, and thank you for your efforts.
Yeah, and one of the ironies in all of this,
Thank you so much.
One of the ironies in all of this, too, is you can't get a flight to Tel Aviv. They're all sold out. So many people trying to get back to Israel.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.